everybody, welcome once again. We are meeting here for class 12 student and the chapter which is going on is issue of share. Students, if you have not yet seen the previous videos, please do refer to those videos because each and every concept related to issue of share is taught in detail and with full clarity. So today we are going to pick up a very important topic which is known as reissue of forfeited shares. Yes, in the previous class we had done how to pass the journal entries for forfeiture of share, and today we are going to learn reissue of these forfeited shares. Though I had to do the questions related to forfeiture of shares first and then teach you reissue of share, but mostly in exam the question will be on both the concept forfeiture and reissue. So first both the concepts are being taught to you and then we will move towards the solving of questions. So this way we are doing it over here. So let's start with this concept of reissue of shares which are being forfeited. To learn what is reissue of forfeited shares. So if you have not yet got your pen and paper, please stop viewing this video here itself and go and get your pen and notebook, because without writing this concept is very difficult to understand. You have to write along with me and you have to be as if you're attending a live class. Yes, this is a live class only for you, kind of live class, though it is a pre-recorded lecture, but it is a kind of live class for you where you will have to be attentive. Then only you are going to get the benefit of it. So let's start reissue of forfeited shares. What is forfeiture? If anybody has doubt in this, please refer to the previous video what we had done. Forfeiture means cancellation of shares because of the non-payment by the shareholder. Company forfeits their share and keeps that money what is being paid by them in the share forfeiture account. Now, when we reissue the share, let us do it with the help of one example. Let's say Mr. X, who were holder of 100 shares, his shares are being forfeited by the company for non-payment of rupees 6 per share. And the payment made by him is rupees 4 per share. So now you can understand the share was 4 per share. The share was of rupees 10 each. The face value of share was rupees 10 each. I am doing case number 1 when the company is issuing these shares as fully paid at par. Issuing shares as fully paid for rupees 10 each. Means company has issued these shares to somebody for taking 10 rupees each. Now, when you do the reissue entry, see each and every step properly. While doing reissue entry, you will pass the entry something like this. You are going to write down bank account debit because the money is coming in, and you are going to write over here equity share capital. When we were forfeiting the shares, we had done equity share capital debit, but here we are doing equity share capital credit. Over here, I am going to write the amount which you have received from the another holder of share to whom the shares are being reissued, 10 rupees, and these shares were issued as fully paid, so means 10 rupees per share. So 1000 rupees is being received by the company from the second shareholder. Now here it is important to pass the entry for forfeiture also, because usually the question which will come in exam will be along with forfeiture. So I am just passing this entry. I should have done it over here, or let me do this thing. I will pass this entry by creating some space over here only, so that each time we don't have to pass this entry. So here I am writing my entry number 1. I'll make it as 2. Forfeiture entry will be passed always along with reissue, or somewhere in the rough you will have to pass because you will have to take reference from here. So forfeiture entry, since X had 100 share and those shares are forfeited, over here I'm going to write equity share capital account debit to share forfeiture When we write share forfeiture, we write down the amount what shareholder has paid and to calls in arrears. In front of calls in arrears, we write down the amount what is not being paid by the shareholder. Now, if I write down over here, this is the called up money. Remember that called up money was the entire money in this case. So 1000 rupees we are writing over here. In share forfeiture, whatever payment is done by the shareholder will be written. So in share forfeiture, we are going to write 100 multiplied by 4, what is being made by the shareholder, which is 400, and here we are going to write 100 multiplied by 600 rupees, the payment which is not made by the shareholder. Okay, now what are you going to do? You are going to pass this entry of reissue, what we have already done. I explained it to you, how much amount you have received, that will go to the bank account, and what is the face value of equity share is coming over here. Now third entry is very important entry. Third entry is what? Now let's see. If the shareholders have not paid the amount, the shares are being forfeited, that we had understood in issue of share, forfeiture of share. Journal entry is done like this first entry. So company has issued this 100 shares twice, actually, one to X and then let's say Y. Second time the company has issued shares to Y, same number of share. First time company had received this amount 400 rupees from the shareholder, and second time company received all 1000 rupees. So altogether company has received 1400 rupees on 100 share, whereas company had to receive only 1000 rupees. So the difference between these two, for 1400 and 1000, is profit for the company, and this profit is known as capital profit. Why it is known as capital profit? Because this is not a recurring thing which will happen by for the company every time. This is once in a while that company is forfeiting the shares and reissuing them. That is why this profit, by being non-recurring in the nature, is known as the profit which is capital profit. And where do we take this capital profit? This capital profit is transferred to capital reserve account. So we have to pass the last entry always compulsorily at capital reserve, as capital reserve. The balance of share forfeiture account will be transferred into into the capital reserve account over here. So the third entry is going to be share forfeiture account debit, share forfeiture account debit to capital reserve. You transfer the balance of share forfeiture account to this. Always balance is not going to be transferred, because from that balance something may be utilized also, which we'll say in case 2. Okay, so here what we have done, we have transferred the balance of share forfeiture account. Share forfeiture account is closed now and it is transferred to capital reserve, being a capital profit. Now we have done case number 1 completely, where we had seen that issuing shares as fully paid for rupees 10 each. Let's see case number 2. What is case number 2? Let us assume in case number 2 that company has issued 100 shares at rupees 9 per share as fully paid. When we say fully paid, means below in the credit side under share capital, we will be multiplying the number of shares with 10 and issued for how much amount? Company has issued it for 9 rupees. So bank account is going to be debited with 9 rupees. Now here the entries are going to be slightly differently. Let us see what will be the difference this time in the entries. So this is case 2 which we are doing. Under case 2, the first entry will be bank account debit to equity share capital. Here shares are being issued as fully paid. So 100 multiplied by 10. I am going to write over here 1000. We have received on each share 9 rupees. So I am going to multiply it with 9 over here. So 900 rupees I have received over here. Now what happened? There is a difference between the debit side and credit side. Our entry is not telling, because share was of rupees 1000 and 100 rupees is received less by the company. So from here 100 rupees will be taken from share forfeiture account. So share forfeiture account will be debited. Now here one important theory concept I am going to teach. What is the maximum amount of discount which company can give? What is happening over here? What we had done case 1, it was actually issue of share at par. Here, the issue of shares is happening at discount. You will say, ma'am, we have studied that issue of shares cannot be at discount. Only debentures can be issued at discount. Yes, you have studied correctly. Only issue of shares debentures can be at discount. Issue of shares cannot be at discount. But there are certain exceptions. Like at the time of reissue, it is possible that the company issues the shares at discount, because at this time, company is not inviting public at large by issuing the prospectus. It has to find privately some investor who is interested in buying the shares. So there is a possibility that company issues the shares at discount. But this discount can be met by the share forfeiture account. What is share forfeiture account? Nothing but the amount received from the previous shareholder whose shares were forfeited. So the maximum amount of discount which a company can provide is the balance in share forfeiture account in respect of these shares. Like in this case, we have forfeited excess share, and the share forfeiture account has a balance of rupees 400, which you can see over here. Maximum amount of discount which a company can give while reissuing this share is 400 rupees, or we can say rupees 4 per share. Beyond this, the discount is not possible, because for meeting that loss, company does not have any other account available. So this you have to always remember, that maximum discount can be 400. In fact, in theory, in your multiple choice questions, this question can be asked also, that what is the maximum amount of discount which company can give. So remember this. Now you're going to pass the entry over here where you have debited share forfeiture account. Now we will have to pass the third entry. What was third entry in the first case? I have not passed over here share forfeiture entry, because the same entry is going to be carried forward. So this will become 2. The number has become 2 over here. This is transferring the balance of share forfeiture to capital reserve. Now this time the same balance of 400 will not be transferred to capital reserve, because we have utilized 100 rupees. So first let me write down the entry, then I'll explain you how we figure out the amount. So share forfeiture account is going to be debited over here. You are going to write share forfeiture account debit, and on the credit side you will be writing to capital reserve. The balance of share forfeiture will be transferred to capital reserve. So first of all, I'm going to write the calculation over here. How did I find out the balance of share forfeiture account? So share forfeiture account has a balance of rupees 400. How? Because X had 100 shares of rupees 4 each, on which he had paid. So 400 rupees was that. We have utilized the amount at the time of reissue of these shares. Discount was given over here in this entry of 100 rupees. So the balance which is left is 100. Balance, or this is also known as profit. This is the amount of profit which company made on reissue of these shares. So this has to be transferred to capital reserve. See over here, I'm going to write down 300 rupees. So like this we will pass the entry. Now is it a possibility that company can issue these shares at premium also? Yes, this is what is our case number 3. In case number 3, we will see that company can issue these shares at premium also. If a company is a good company, established company in the market, so in case 3, company can issue these shares at premium also. Let's say issued 100 shares at premium of rupees 2 per share. Now, in this case, how are we going to pass the entry? My first entry will remain same, what it was here. Forfeiture entry will remain same, and share forfeiture account has a balance of 400 rupees. Now, I'm going to pass down the entry over here. First entry will be bank account debit to equity share capital, and since we have taken premium also, we are going to write down securities premium account also. 100 shares of rupees 12 each, altogether 1200 rupees is received by the company, where 10 rupees belongs to share capital and 2 rupees belongs to security premium. Like this will pass the entry. Now in this case, just like first case, we have not touched share forfeiture account at all. That balance is not used because shares are not issued at discount. Means that entire balance can be transferred to capital reserve. So here I am going to write the entry share forfeiture account debit to capital reserve, and I am going to transfer the entire balance of share forfeiture to capital reserve, which is rupees 400. That's all. So case number 3 was simple. Case number 1 was also simple. The only thing which we have to be careful is issue of shares at discount at the time of reissuing them. So here you will have to do this calculation. Little more complications there in this topic. What we have done just now, we have seen 3 cases. We have seen all these 3 cases where we have issued the shares 100%, means all 100 shares were forfeited and the 100 shares are reissued. But there is a possibility that company does not get the buyer for all 100 share altogether. There may be a possibility that company is able to sell less number of share, means 50 share, 30 share, 40 shares, 80 shares, something like that. In this case, a little bit more calculation is required and your concept has to be very, very clear. So do not leave the video in between. Stay connected till the end, because now what I am going to teach you is again a very important thing and quite often seen in the exam. So we will continue with our same example, that we have 100 shares which were held by X originally, and these shares were rupees 10 each, out of which he has paid rupees 4 is being paid and non-payment is rupees 6 per share. Okay, and his 100 shares are forfeited. Now let's say in this time we are assuming that reissued 50 shares at par fully paid. Means in this case my entry is going to be, first entry is going to be, this is my case 1 over here, case 1. My entry is going to be bank account debit, share capital account, equity share capital, to equity share capital account. Now here I cannot multiply with 100 because I have forfeited 100 shares but reissued only 50 shares. So 50 multiplied by rupees 10. I am going to write over here 50 and 50. Now while transferring the amount of share forfeiture, I have to be very careful. So in respect of 100 share, the shareholder had paid rupees 4 per share, means 400 was given. I will have to apply unitary method and find out for 50 share how much amount was given by the shareholder. So 400 divided by 100 multiplied by 50, or we can say directly 50%, means 200 rupees was there in this share forfeiture account in respect of these 50 shares, which was not touched at all because shares are issued at par. So entry is going to be share forfeiture account debit to capital reserve. Now you will ask, why we did not transfer whole 400 rupees to capital reserve? Because of the simple reason, because 50 shares are still left to be reissued, because this 50 shares will be reissued in the future, and that time if company has to issue the shares at discount, from where the company is going to get the amount to make this loss goods? Obviously from share forfeiture account only. That is why share forfeiture account cannot be closed right now, and only the balance which is there in respect of 50 shares will be transferred to capital reserve. Rest of the balance will remain as it is. So if I teach you share forfeiture account, how to make the share forfeiture account, because sometimes the ledger accounts are also asked. So share forfeiture account will look something like this. It will give you a clarity. So when we passed the first entry, that time we had written by share capital. I'll show you the entry also. Why share capital? Look at this entry. Over here, what first entry what we had passed was share. Let me take you to the entry first. So let's see how share forfeiture account will look like. It will give you more clarity to understand how share forfeiture balances are transferred here and there. So first entry which we had done, we had passed the entry equity share capital account debit to share forfeiture. So here I am going to write share capital, and the balance in share forfeiture account was 4 rupees per share, means rupees 400. And in the last entry over here, this entry we have transferred the money in respect of 50 share to capital reserve. So here I'm going to write capital reserve, and under capital reserve I'm going to write down 200 rupees, and the balance which will be left is balance carried down, and balance carried down is 200 rupees now. So this is how your capital reserve share forfeiture account will look like, which you should know, because sometimes they ask you to make the ledger account also, so you should know this. Case 1 is done, where the shares are issued at par. Now assume that in case 2 we are issuing the shares. Case 2 we are issuing the shares, let's say 50 shares reissued as fully paid. Fully paid means the amount which will come on the credit side under share capital for rupees 8 per share. Now again the amount is at discount, means 2 rupees will have to be taken from share forfeiture account. So my entry is going to be bank account debit to share for, sorry, I have to include one more thing over here. Share forfeiture account debit to share capital. Under share capital, I am going to write 50 multiplied by 8, which will become 400. Sorry, here I have to write 50 multiplied by 8, and here I have to write 10. 50 multiplied by 10, this is 500, this is 500, and here it is 400, means 100 rupees which is discount, which comes to 50 multiplied by 2, has to be taken from share forfeiture account. Now while transferring the balance from share forfeiture to capital reserve, I have to be very careful, because at this time I have to do the proportionate calculation. So say share forfeiture account debit to capital reserve. How I'm going to find out the amount? Share forfeiture had a balance in respect of 100 shares, 400. So for 50 shares, it was 200. Okay, from 200, utilized amount is 100. What is left is our profit. Like this, you have to show the calculation, and which you will show as working note. So you have only 100 rupees which can be transferred, because 200 rupees was there, but out of that 200 rupees, 100 rupees is already being utilized. So next case is issue of shares at premium, which is just like the previous case. So there we will transfer, like in first case where we issued the shares at par, 200 rupees. Okay, like this, here we had transfer all 200 rupees, there also will transfer 200 rupees. I hope students, you have understood this concept of issue of shares and forfeiture very well. Forfeiture and reissue of share, this is one of the important concepts which is going to definitely be seen in your exam somewhere. It can be asked into 10 marker question in ISC students case, and in case of CBSE student a 6 marker question. Big question is going to come for issue of share. There it will be a part of question, definitely. So practice this concept well. We will meet again in the next class. There we are going to pass the journal entries of some questions. We will be doing some practical questions based on this particular concept only. And till then, stay connected with us. If you have not yet subscribed the channel, please do subscribe the channel. Bye. Have a great day.